Hi, I'm Sarah Chu, and I'm Miss Chinese Boston 2023. So I actually decided to apply for Miss Chinese Boston because of my grandparents. So I'm first generation Chinese American, and my whole family, they grew up in Guangdong, China. And for my grandparents, they were really passionate about pageantry because they saw how much of an impact that the contestants would have on the community. They really wanted that for me as well. So they actually asked me a bunch of times when I was in college, but I kept saying no. So over the years, they were really persistent, and last year I decided to apply after realizing the Miss Chinese Boston program aligned with my personal values in terms of giving back to the Chinese American community. I've been really passionate about social impact work for quite some time, and I've been doing a lot of independent work in terms of writing for a personal blog, writing stories about the Asian American experience. So I thought it would be a really cool and unique experience to give back to the community through pageantry. Yeah, so the process was actually a really extensive one. It felt like a combination of a job interview and a dance competition. I'm a competitive ballroom dancer, so I definitely have experience in like the entertainment / the arts world, which definitely helped with the pageant interviews. Miss Chinese Boston is actually only in its third year, so we have quite a small team, and we weren't able to host a local pageant this year, but my program director / co-founder of the Miss Chinese Boston program, Leanna Louie, wants to have a local pageant in the future. That's like one of her aspirations. But for my year, we had a series of interviews where the team asked a little bit more about my interest in the position and why they thought I'd be a good fit for the role. And in my final round, I interviewed with my sponsors, the Chinese American Heritage Foundation, and I presented my talent in person, which is really fun. I did a medley of 2 ballroom styles to traditional Chinese music. Some of my duties include, first and foremost, it was preparing for the Miss Chinatown USA pageant. So that's been my focus for the first half of this year. Miss Chinese Boston sponsors the lucky winner to compete at Miss Chinatown USA. So that was a really incredible experience just preparing for the pageant. There's a huge learning curve. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I felt a lot of imposter syndrome throughout this year, but over time definitely grew out of that. So that was a really great experience. And the other main responsibility for me is to be a goodwill ambassador for my sponsor, the Chinese American Heritage Foundation. The co-founders, Esther and Wilson Lee, are philanthropists, and they really aim to recognize, appreciate, and acknowledge the vast contributions that the Chinese American people have had on this country. There's a huge lack of understanding and awareness of Chinese American history, from the Transcontinental Railroad to the 20,000 veterans of World War II. And they really aim to spread awareness to the issues that Chinese American people face, but also our history and our culture. So I really aim to be a goodwill ambassador for the greater Boston community, and it's been an absolute privilege to serve for this year. One of the biggest things that I've learned in my journey into pageantry is to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. This is my first time in pageantry, and I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't know anyone. I didn't really know any of the rules of the game. So for me, I had a lot of self-doubt in the first few months being Miss Chinese Boston. And over time, I learned that with every twist and turn that pageantry has given me, I learned that these difficult situations, I ended up growing the most when I was in them. So I definitely encourage anyone that is interested in trying something new to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because I found that I grew the most when I was put in those situations. 3 words that come to mind are bittersweet, special, and surreal. It was definitely bittersweet because shortly after I was crowned Miss Chinese Boston, My grandfather unfortunately passed away, and he was an integral part of my life. For me, I was deeply connected with him and my culture through our language and through our love for each other and for food. It was really difficult going through this whole Miss Chinatown USA journey without him, because he encouraged me to apply and he really wanted to see me compete on the national stage. So when I was there, it was definitely surreal and special because I dedicated my talent performance to him. So he was the Year of the Dragon, and I had dragons all over my costume, and red was his favorite color, of course. And his Chinese name was on my halter neck. So it was a really special performance, and I'll never forget that. And it was also just really cool and surreal because I've been preparing for the Miss Chinatown USA competition for a really long time. So being able to showcase my work, both in my talent, but also my community work, was an incredible experience.